Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Challenger Series number 16. This is Avalanche Supreme versus Dark Passage. My name is Nature, and I'm joined by Spuddington.
Hello there, Nature. It's good to be back on the Challenger Series. We've been casting the We Play Invitational for a little bit of a time. I believe that may actually still be going on. We may have some games from that at some point later on. Not actually 100% sure on that, though. So, I am casting from the stream for the duration of Champion Select. So, Nature, what are the bans and picks so far?
Yeah, the bans coming in here quite fast. It is going to be the Shyvana, the Kassadin, the Elise, the Annie, and the Evelyn, as we are waiting for the very last ban on the side of Dark Passage. For now, they've got 5 more seconds to do it, and it is going to be the Riven.
Okay, nothing too surprising here, other than the fact that there's a Riven ban. That is generally a champion that's very, very strong in solo queue, no denying that. She can snowball incredibly hard and scales very, very well into the late game just on her sheer amount of damage she can put out. But she's very, very skill-based, and if you don't get the right setup for her, she doesn't do well early on, that can really spell trouble for you later down the line. So you need those players that are very reliable at using her. Unfortunately, though, in banning that out, presumably a targeted ban from Dark Passage, they have allowed Mundo to slip through, and that is scary, scary times. Nature, I don't know if you were watching the LCS qualifiers, but Mundo...
Yep, the Mundo being let through here for Skipper, so Skipper will be picking that one up for his team, as right now Fabulous is hovering over the Rengar. Now the Rengar was banned for the entirety of the LCS promotions, I believe, so we did not get to see that in action. However, we might be able to see that in action right now, as Fabulous is hovering over the Rengar. Crystal Meth is yet to decide a champion, but it is looking like it is going to be the Olaf.
Well, the interesting thing here is that I'm not actually sure if the Rengar bug was fixed on this patch. For those of you who don't know, the reason he was banned for the LCS qualifier, the 3.13 patch there, so we are a patch further on, but I'm not sure they fixed it, was that Rengar had a couple of exploits. You could, for instance, double cast your Q, I believe. So you could get multiple empowered hits from his Q in one shot at level 2, which was like an insta-kill on your opponent in lane, and that tends to lead to snowballing really, really naturally. But Rengar in the current meta, in the current patch, even without those bugs, which he did have, he's actually very, very strong anyway. Building him fairly tanky, sometimes going for a bit more damage later on, means that he can have that simultaneously that immovable brick presence in the top lane, but can also roam and make some serious plays with his ultimate. However, Dark Passage have also picked out the Olaf, as you mentioned, and that does kind of show their hand. It means Avalanche do have the opportunity now to plan their own picks around them.
Yeah, and they are surely looking to do so, as Masterwork is hovering over the Vi, such a dominant pick, which was being forced to get banned out in the LCS promotions as well. And Bounty is looking to pick up the Jinx. Also, of course, a very, very strong pick. Oh, and actually Masterwork switching out to the Lulu at the very last second of his chance to pick up a champion.
Interesting choice there. Now, Lulu is not a champion we've seen a lot of lately. Since the utility buff/nerfs changes to supports in general, Lulu not the most popular choice. However, because we haven't seen a lot of her, that's possibly just because she was not very popular before and people haven't really taken the time to take a second look at her. She certainly synergizes well, however, with the other 2 champions Avalanche pick out. She makes Mundo even more disruptive, with the wild growth giving him even more health, taking more advantage of his health regen, and it gives him that slow aura, and it gives him that knock-up around him. So it can make Mundo even more disruptive, or it can peel for Jinx, which is something she really, really does need, lacking that escape mechanism that a lot of AD carries themselves have. So interesting choice. We'll see how it works out in lane, because that's where it might fall down, but very, very strong, I think, for their composition in the late game.
Yeah, Dark Passage have picked themselves up the Thresh and the Tristana at this point, so a little bit of a hyper carry coming in there for Dark Passage. And I wanted to touch on the Lulu a little bit more, because I think that it is quite a good pickup for Avalanche Supreme, as the moment Fabulous shows himself in the fight, it might just be too late for Jinx already. So or the Rengar shows himself, that might just be too late for the Jinx already. So that Lulu is going to be adding to the Jinx's survivability. Right now, Ritix and Flezeth are not quite having picked up their champions yet. But how do you think the Thresh Tristana lane is going to do against that Lulu Jinx lane, Spud?
Well, typically, Nature, what you tend to see with Tristana, she's not brilliant early on. She does have high burst early on, but she tends to suffer in terms of, very, very quickly into that mid game. Post level 6, she starts to fall off quite nastily. Getting into the very, very late game, she starts to scale up again thanks to the range and the attack speed steroid, but she's not brilliant for a large portion of the mid game, and that is quite a big thing to suffer from. However, Holy Phoenix definitely does play Tristana. That is a very important aspect. Obviously, comfort champions are a major factor in games. And the other thing that Tristana does, other AD carries can sometimes lack, is she can push lanes very, very quickly. You can actually just leave her to split push a solo lane, and as long as she's not caught out by, for instance, a Mundo, she's going to be able to clear very, very quickly and then move back to join up with her team. Faster than Jinx can, even with her AoE rocket spam. So even if she does fall behind early on, Tristana can catch up pretty effectively. Regardless, though, I do believe we have the last couple of lock-ins.
Yeah, we do have the Vi, as well as the Orianna, and of course the Morgana on the side of Dark Passage being picked up. Now, the Orianna is of course quite a dominant pick as well, but then again, you really have to make those shockwaves count if you want to make the Orianna work, and that might just be sketchy from time to time. On the other side, of course, the Morgana, which I'm not too sure whether we have seen a whole lot of that in the Challenger series already, so we're going to have to see how that works out as well.
Not seen a whole lot of Morgana mid lane or support actually in the Challenger series. But going back again to the LCS promotionals, and indeed the LCS promotional qualifiers which I casted, Super Hot Crew ran a very, very good Morgana mid on their mid laner Moop. So it can really, really work, but in the qualifiers we saw only 2 days in the past, it can fail, and one of the lanes it failed against was an Orianna lane in that tournament. We'll see, however, how that works out once we're into the game, but for the duration of the 3-minute spectator delay, we're just going to be going into a quick break, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you after this.
I can't breathe, I can't sleep tonight, knowing I might wake up alone tomorrow. I can't breathe, I can't close my eyes, 'cause There's a feeling somewhere inside.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spuddington, joined by Nature, here to bring you the EOS Challenger Series number 16. This is Avalanche Supreme versus Dark Passage. As you can probably see on the screen right now, we are having a little bit of a pause timer. We have, I believe, Thresh, who has a name which is difficult to pronounce, Triel Bainri, disconnecting. Not entirely sure what's going on there, but we will let you know when that is fixed. But in the meantime, if you wanted to check out one of our rather kind sponsors, Esports Venture, who are running a betting function, I think, on this particular series of games, you can type in !bet in chat in order to be linked to that. So, Nature, how are you doing?
I'm doing very fine myself, thank you very much, as I'm still a little bit shaken up by the enormous upset in the LCS promotion, but this is the Challenger Series, so we're just going to have and see how this plays out. I'm just wondering myself what team would actually have a little bit of a benefit in these starting phases of the game.
Well, it's a fairly even matchup here. Avalanche Supreme has a couple of things going in their favor, but Dark Passage has much more catching potential. So Avalanche Supreme have good damage, essentially, in level 1 fight, but they don't have a lot of capacity to lock people down. They've got Mundo Cleavers. They've got Jinx, who at level 1 is actually very strong in terms of her auto attacks, because she has the attack speed from her minigun and the rockets from the rocket launcher, which gives her the range, gives her the potential to all in with damage, and she can clean up well with her passive, much the same as she would later on into the game. However, Dark Passage have the capacity to catch a single person and nuke them down. They have Undertow, they have got Dark Binding, they have got the Death Sentence from Thresh, and the Burst for early on from Tristana, which is very, very significant. But it does mean if they get caught into a sustained fight, if they get baited in a little too far, they might end up suffering for it. Or if they can't make that engage happen, they'll be forced to back out from the poking abilities. As to whether they'll actually choose to go for an invade, though, that's a little bit more interesting. Not 100% certain, but Dark Passage might look for the 2-on-1 swap up. Mundo is not brilliant in a 2-on-1. Neither really is Rengar, but Tristana does push very, very fast. So does Jinx. It's just a matter, though, of whether they feel confident that Tristana can 2-on-2 against Jinx, which is kind of down to Holy Phoenix's call, because he's a very skilled Tristana player, but it might be a difficult matchup.
Yeah, so for those of you who are just joining us, the Thresh here on the side of Dark Passage is a little bit, or is having some problems with his internet, so we will be going into the game when he returns. For now, we are just going to have to wait this pause out. Oh, it seems like he has actually returned, so we're hoping to get into the game as soon as possible. Now, you mentioned the 2 versus 1 lanes, and you said they were... Oh, okay, so he's gone.
We had another disconnect.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned they would be going up against each other fairly even. How do you say that that would go in the middle lane, however? Because I'm not too sure how that would fare.
So, Orianna versus Morgana is a fairly defensive matchup. Both of these champions are ones that play fairly far back. They play a farming game. They like to push hard, and then if they want to make something happen, if they want to get an influence on the map, they need to do some roaming rather than try and kill each other. Morgana maybe has a little bit more kill potential. She can always go, once she's hit level 6, for like a flash Soul Shackles into Dark Binding combo, and she can follow that up with, you know, a very high damage jungler in the form of Olaf, or even a potential gank from Rengar in the top lane. Never discount that post 6. So there's a little bit more kill potential there, but it's not going to be easy for either of them. And especially pre-6, they're just going to be playing farm and push and farm and push. Orianna might get a slight harass advantage, just based on the fact that her auto attack range is significantly longer. It's actually a little fact that a lot of people don't know about Morgana. Her auto attack range is, I can't actually check it exactly because the pause timer is covering it over, is only 450. Whereas, obviously, Orianna has the standard 550, which is 100 range, which is significant, especially when you're up against an auto-attack harass champion like Oriana's passive. It does make it a little bit difficult for Morgana, but innate sustain, very difficult to gank, etc., etc. We know the drill. Morgana, very, very safe laner.
All right, so true. Ben Ray, sorry for butchering his name, has rejoined us. Now let us cross our fingers to hope that we can actually get back into this game.
I don't want to get your hopes up on that.
Yeah,
he has disconnected and reconnected like 3 or 4 times now.
For now, we are still stuck in this pause screen, and I think we might just want to let the chat ask us some questions, as we like to do when we're stuck in pauses.
Yeah, go ahead. Guys, in chat, if you do have a question for the casters, or indeed for our producers, we can relay that, I'm sure. Do feel free to just type it out in Twitch chat. We will, we will answer that. Or alternately, you can tweet at us. I believe Nature is at Lucas Nature.
Yes, that's me.
All right, and my own Twitter would be at Spuddington. So if you want to ask a question, do go ahead and do that, and we will try to fill the time in the meantime. And I did just want to raise one small point here, which is that Bounty, fastest finger first, is the fastest person to buy his items. And in fact, has managed to buy Trinket and Adoran Shield in the time it's taken everyone else to do nothing, which is impressive and pointless.
Yep, which is indeed impressive. Now, we do have someone asking what is the answer of life. That is quite a hard question
42.
to answer. 42. That's an interesting answer.
It's a reference, I'm afraid. Have you,
Yeah,
have you
I know.
never, have you never seen Hitchhiker's Guide or read or listened to? The
Yeah,
Hitchhiker's Guide.
No. Chickenpox asks, Spuddington, are you single?
Yes. Now, why ever would you be asking that particular question, lady or gentleman? Well, of course, I don't know why I'm asking a question to you on stream. That's going to take ages to come out. That's a bit pointless. But anyway, are there any other questions in the chat, Nature?
Oh, hold on for a second, because we've actually got people. So we will be continuing, starting off this game finally. So,
Perfect timing.
We've actually got yet another pause coming in here. Beautiful timing.
If it helps, my camera did just move from the bottom spawn pad to the top spawn pad. So I now have a completely different view to be paused on. Ooh, I'm pausing again though.
Alright, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, finally to the Rift. Everyone buying his items. This is the Challenger Series, number 16. I believe it's the round of 16 as well. It is Avalanche Supreme versus, of course, the Turkish Overlords Dark Passage.
Yeah, and this should actually be an interesting matchup. You may have noticed if you were watching... actually, you can't have been watching because we have overlays. So if you were on the loading screen for this game, you would have known that Dark Passage actually have no challenger borders between them, but they are going for the invade here. They may be able to catch someone out. This is taking advantage of that ability to single target catch we did mention. And they can put down some wards as a result of that if they want to. But just going back to the matchup here, Dark Passage are a very well-known team. They've got a lot of time to kind of build up their synergy between them. But Avalanche Prime do have a lot of individual skill among them. They are potentially very, very strong, but it's always hard to call before you've actually seen a team in action.
So Avalanche Supreme right now looking to go over to their very own blue buff. No real invades on their side. Dark Passage did just get in there and went over to that red buff. Now they realized they were spotted out and they returned to their very own blue buff. So no really interesting stuff. However, on the side of Avalanche Supreme, we've got 2 sweeping lenses. And on the side of Dark Passage, we've got none at all. And to me, sweeping lenses usually indicate you want to, of course, clear out some wards and maybe do something aggressive, but they really haven't shown anything in that sense so far.
It's an interesting thing to note, though. Remember, there was a buff given. Fabulous is taking a bit of harass in the top lane, but don't think he's going to go down from that. there was actually a buff in the 3.14 patch to the sweeping lens. They lowered the cooldown on the active, so they made it a little bit easier to keep your lanes cleared out if you want to do that. And I also just want to second note on another independent thing here. Masterwork and Ritix there did a very smart thing. Instead of freezing the lane because they knew they'd forced Rengar to go back, they're actually shoving in much faster. Compare that to the bot lane, you'll actually see they are building, they're going to be denying Rengar a little bit more farm than their opponents.
A good play right there out of the Avalanche Supreme marksman and support. They are putting quite a lot of damage down in these early minutes on towards that turret. On the other side, however, they will not be putting down any damage, of course, on that turret. And Bounty is actually walking with his jungler, Skipper, to get a little bit of that extra experience from the jungle, which we do see sometimes, because, of course, you really get denied a lot of experience in that 1 versus 2 lane. Meanwhile, the junglers on both sides have decided to reinforce their respective top laners, if you will, and they are looking to defend their turrets.
Yeah, now the only thing here is that top lane, Dark Passage, do not have a lot of easy kill potential on their opponents. But they do have better wave clear, so this kind of depends if Skipper and Bounty in the bottom lane can go aggressive and get kills on Holy Phoenix, or at least threaten the Tristana Thresh lane enough to keep them away from pushing.
Yeah, Holy Phoenix gets jumped on. He uses the rocket jump to get out of there. Death Sentence comes out on Bounty. Bounty will not be taking too much damage because of that, because of course he is Mundo and he goes where he pleases, even though he's not that tanky as he is going to be at this point of the game. But then again, he
Masterwork in top.
Oh yeah, in top lane. Meanwhile, Masterwork taking a whole lot of damage. He gets locked up. He is surely going to be going down. That is first blood going down for Dark Passage. They are looking for the second kill on Ritix. Ritix looking to kill Crystal Meth here, as he will be picking that one up. He gets excited. He has got the red buff now. Zap comes out. Fabulous is going to be in real trouble here. But he decides, Ritix, that is, decides against pursuing in the end. And that is a 1-for-1 trade.
It's always a scary proposition following Rengar into a brush, even if you did just get yourself double buffs. But that arguably will favor Ritix here. He's going to be left to farm. He can actually zone Fabulous a little bit now, especially with the double buffs. And it's going to slow down the pushing race up here. In general, though, having Jinx available to keep the push going is going to mean that it's just going to cancel out. But you can actually see Dark Passage's bot lane. They are not having a lot of luck, and I am hoping that this isn't a spectator bug on my end.
I'm not too sure. Alright. Oh, I'm having a little bit of a bug myself here. Okay, so Avalanche Supreme right now looking to defend that middle lane. Skipper taking a little bit of damage, gets poked out of there. Might just be returning. Oh, meanwhile, in the middle lane, however, Flens taking a whole lot of damage, doesn't quite go down in the end. He will be forced to back away. That was quite an effective gank out of Crystal Meth.
This is a pity we couldn't possibly have seen the build up to it, because the spectator's client was telling us everything was going to happen in a very brief flash there. But yeah, actually at the moment, Dark Passage are taking a pretty big beating in this top lane. Ritix getting that double buffs is meaning he's zoning out Fabulous, and Jinx is pushing quite a lot faster now that she's up to the tower. So they've essentially gotten their tower in this 2-on-1 swap up before Dark Passage could even hope to damage that bottom one. That is seriously bad right now. And it gives Avalanche Supreme here, not Avalanche Prime, that's a different team which no longer exists. Avalanche Supreme here, a big opportunity to exploit that for lane rotation advantages. The only possible downside is that Fabulous could freeze it and put them in an awkward spot, but I don't think it's going to be difficult for Avalanche to make plays with that, with a numbers advantage.
Crystal Meth right now being called over towards that top lane, as well as we do have Ritix and Masterwork who will be backing away here. Ritix quite deep in that recalling animation. Crystal Meth maybe looking for this kill, gets a good hammer swing on Ritix, and Ritix will be getting out of there safely, as he's a little bit too much to chew off for Crystal Meth at this point. So Ritix and Masterwork will be backing away. They will probably be rotating over towards that bottom lane to keep that turret of theirs alive.
Yeah, the only problem if they do choose to go down to the bottom lane right now is that because Bounty is so low and because Skipper's taking quite a lot of damage, it wouldn't actually be very safe and very easy for them to then rotate towards Dragon. Now, Naru is heading down, and in the top lane there was a kill which I completely failed to notice. Naru was actually baiting though, has caught Flezeth.
Yeah, he is in real trouble here, Flezeth trying to get out. He gets stunned up by the soul shackles. He will be using that ball of his to defend himself. Omimo in the bottom lane. Actually, we do have a kill coming out for Holy Phoenix. He will be getting out of there with the rocket jump and the dark passage. And he will be safe for now. Masterwork might be able to do something about this, but I don't think he is going to be doing anything. And Holy Phoenix gets out. That is 3 for 1. So far in kills.
Yeah, but not a huge amount of advantages taken overall because Dark Passage, in spite of getting the better of the fight, have fallen a little bit behind on objective control. As you can see, their bottom tower that they were pushing with 2 men, still very much standing and very much alive. I'm actually a little curious now, though, as to who is stronger between Fabulous and Bounty in this top lane. Both of them have got a Giant's Belt, but Rengar has picked up a Chain Vest. That's not actually going to do him that much good against Mundo because a lot of his damage is magic. But it also means that Fabulous now has the opportunity, if he is able to push back Mundo, to start roaming and making plays with his stealth. Mundo eventually, however, will get to a point where Rengar cannot deal with his sustain and cannot deal with his sustained damage. That could become very, very difficult in the long run. But right now, Rengar has a chance to start making plays.
And look at this, Avalanche Supreme once again looking to beat down this turret very, very quickly. And it seems like they'll be able to do it in actually one wave. They do manage to take it down. Holy Phoenix is looking to try and say something about it, but he is taking so much damage. But here comes Trailbell and Crystal Meth. He has used his ghost, as we do have the Flame Chompers coming out. Zap comes out as well. Holy Phoenix taking a whole lot of damage. He's really deep. Ritix using the Super Mega Death Rocket as he gets Wild Growth up. Masterwork being forced to flash out. Ritix looking to pick up that kill, but he will not be able to do so as Holy Phoenix picks him up. Rocket Jump comes out. This is looking to be a double kill, but not if Masterworks can say anything about it. Oh, he somehow gets away. But right now it is looking like he will be picked up by Trio-Ben-Ray, and that is a double kill for Skipper coming in here, looking to make it a triple. And there you go, that's a triple kill for Skipper.
Really, really unfortunate overcommitment there, though. Avalanche get, honestly, a bit of a windfall because Dark Passage did not take account of Vi's ability to get there so quickly. And as a result, under the tower when she arrived, she cleaned up 3 kills, giving her pretty much equalizing the kill total between them. Given how many objectives Jinx has taken, given how now they have the opportunity to take this dragon, Avalanche Supreme are putting themselves a long way ahead at this stage of the game. That's a really, really bad call, unfortunately, to go under the tower there.
Yeah, that was not working out in their favor in the end, as right now Avalanche Supreme, as you said, picking up the very first dragon of the game. They might just now be looking for that kill onto Naru. Naru uses the spell shields, gets forced to flash in the end because of the zap of Ritix, and they might just be looking to push down this middle turret, and that means that there will be no outer turret standing after this.
And it seems right now that Dark Passage just don't have an answer. Unless they can catch Ritix!
Yeah, Dark Binding comes out, Shockwave does as well, but Ritix just gets exploded by Naru. No surviving out of there, as Avalanche Prime is now forced to retreat. And Dark Passage pick themselves up a nice little kill.
And that completely turns around the momentum right there. Without Ritix, it's going to be much, much harder for them to fight this. However, Flezeth can push away the wave, unless he himself gets caught. But right now, Dark Passage do not have the ability to fight straight up, and that's why they're focusing so much of their time and effort on getting Tristana farmed up. They want her to get through that doldrums period as fast as possible, and you can see the fact that they've sacrificed so many towers to do it might cost them, but Tristana is starting to build up quite a lead, even over Jinx, who has been doing a lot of work for her team.
As Tristana is sitting on 95 creep score, and the Jinx is sitting on a 73 creep score. So a little bit of a lead right there, as you said, for the Tristana, who might be in trouble here. Here comes a Vault Breaker, uses the rocket jump, but it might be too late. Oh, great buster shot right there out of Holy Phoenix as he knocks away Skipper. Or will it be enough? It surely isn't looking like it, because here's Masterwork, and he is surely going to be going down to Skipper. Skipper picking himself up yet another kill.
Great show of mechanics there by both Skipper and Holy Phoenix there, though. Holy Phoenix timing the ultimate just right so that he knocked back Vi and could denied her the ability to follow up. But Vi herself followed along with Tristana's rocket jump very efficiently as well. Both kind of timing skills that you can only really do if you know exactly what you are trying to do ahead of time, and you've got at least a decent bit of practice there. That gives Avalanche now a chance to take this final outer tower from Dark Passage, and I don't see anyone really stopping them, so they have got quite a big map control advantage. Probably going to recall now, but after that they may be able to start making some really good rotation plays. Dark Passage have a lot of onus on them to start taking back towers.
Yeah, with now all the outer towers down, that allows them, of course, to start roaming in their enemy's jungle a little bit more effectively, as Ritix isn't looking to recall just yet, as he will be forced to defend that turret alongside Skipper and Masterwork from the assault of Dark Passage. As Dark Passage throwing those Dark Bindings, not really connecting yet. Oh, Death Sentence comes out. Masterwork just dodging that, just barely. But right now, Ritix might be looking for a kill. He gets some good damage out on Crystal Meth, but no real action for now. Bounty might be running into Fabulous here, but I don't think anyone is going to be going down here.
Yeah, there's always that potential for a catch though, and now we actually get to see Mundo versus Rengar one-on-one. Who's actually going to come out on top?
Ignite has landed on Bounty. Here comes the jump out of Fabulous. He's doing so much damage. Ignite is, of course, negating that sadism for a little bit, but then again, the Ignite has worn off, so Bounty will be regenerating that health really rapidly, as Fabulous is not quite done pushing this turret yet. And it seems like Bounty might be having some trouble defending this one. Fabulous being forced away, but Bounty taking so much damage. Fabulous will not be picking up the kill quite yet, as these two are a little bit too beefy for now.
However, continued pressure on the bot lane from Holy Phoenix. He is actually really building up a farm advantage right now, and he may be able to take this tower as well, assuming he doesn't overcommit. He's going to be running away now, but can Skipper follow this up?
Yeah, Skipper has charged up the Volt Breaker. Oh, and he gets knocked back by the Buster Shot almost instantly. No following up for him today, says Holy Phoenix, as right now they might be rotating over towards that middle lane once again, as they have seen a little bit of a weak spot in the Dark Passage lineup, maybe. But we do have Naru following their every move. And it seems like Masterwork is going to be called over towards that bottom lane to help Ritix defend, as he is having some trouble here.
Yeah, Ritix is a bit low. Skipper is there though, but Crystal Meth is ready for the counter gank. This could be a bait.
Yeah, this is really dangerous for Holy Phoenix. He just gets blown up by Ritix right now. Trailblazing is in real trouble. He uses the box, but is it going to be enough? It surely is not looking like it. Great assault and battery on him. He loses a whole lot of health, and Skipper will be picking that one up. He is unstoppable right now.
Wow, though, Skipper with the timing on the assault and battery there. Following the flash, he predicted exactly when it would be used, and it got him an extra kill on Thresh. Now can they abuse that to get Naru as well?
Yeah, Volt Breaker comes in once again, will not knock back Naru, has used the spell shield quite effectively right there, negating the shockwave, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not, as Flazeth picks up that kill, and that makes it 8-6 in kills and a 3,000 gold lead for Avalanche Supreme.
And you've got to give props to Skipper here. That was a really nice chaining of a couple of kills. Actually looks like Crystal Meth wants to follow that up, but this is dangerous.
Yeah, Ritix trying to turn this one around. Right now, Holy Phoenix doing as much as he can, as we do have the Ragnarok coming out of Crystal Meth, but he will be that will be timing out, as Bounty is deterring that Dark Passage team from following up that Avalanche Supreme team by throwing out those cleavers again and again. Fabulous is not going to make anything happen at all here, and I don't think they can actually dive this.
Might be a bit difficult, but there is always that potential with Dark Passage's composition. They could catch someone out using that hook, using the Dark Binding when Morgana gets back in, and you can chain together a lot of CC on a single target. Even someone like Bounty would have to be concerned if he got hooked and then had a fair bit of follow-up. And I also like the Tristana pick, by the way. Given that they knew Avalanche Supreme had Mundo, having Grievous Wounds inbuilt into your kit and not having to rely on Ignite like Fabulous does is a very, very powerful thing when Mundo can be so disruptive in the backlines if he's allowed to just regen forever.
Alright, so right now Dark Passage is looking to pick up this dragon, but Avalanche Prime might not be allowing that for now. Naru is going to be in trouble here. Here comes the Assault and Battery, does not get denied. Two-man Shockwave comes in, as does the Mega Inferno Bomb. Crystal Meth is in real trouble, as they have already picked up Naru. Flash being coming out of Ritix there. He will be surely picking up Holy Phoenix, or is he? Oh, Zap connects. Holy Phoenix in real trouble. Yeah, he is going down. And there you have it, the very last tick of damage coming out of Ritix, as we do have Avalanche Prime once again winning a fight and picking up the dragon.
Yeah, and Fabulous now is going to be forced to fight off with Skipper. I'm not sure he's going to be able to escape from this, honestly, but if you could drag it out long enough, the sustain of Rengar could actually give him an advantage here.
Yeah, but he is going to be running into the teammates of Skipper fairly shortly. He gets knocked up by the Vault Breaker, gets slowed once again, and he is going to go down to Bounty. Bounty picking himself up a kill, and that is a... I believe that's a 4 for 0, and Avalanche Supreme really are looking really strong so far.
Yeah, Avalanche seem to have a good habit of picking up very good teams. Although, having seen our qualifier bracket for this particular Challenger series, they have a lot of teams. So it may just be and if you pick up several teams at once, you will eventually get one that's really good. Not to say anything bad about the other ones, but Flezeth could be in trouble here if Naru can land the binding. Doesn't manage to do it though, so not a huge concern in the end. Flezeth will recall, and Avalanche Prime's Supreme starting to build up quite a significant gold lead here. They are, in fact, about 6,000 or 7,000 gold ahead. Masterwork, he's not in trouble.
No, he is going to get out of here, as Naru did see Skipper and Ritix coming in there, so he is not going to try and make anything happen at all on towards Masterwork, and Masterwork is, of course, a little tanky at this point. Using that shield of him as well. Naru might be trying to follow this one up, but it surely isn't looking like it right now. Sweeping lenses come out on the Baron, and Avalanche Prime might be picking up their Baron right now.
Taking advantage of how sustained Mundo is here, but it does seem like Dark Passage made the right call. They have detected it. Fabulous has ulted. Avalanche know it's coming.
Yeah, here goes Crystal Meth, in he goes. Skipper is in real trouble as he is very low bounty, forming that front line. Good death sentence on towards Flezes, but it really isn't enough at this point. Super Mega Death Rocket comes out, but Dark Passage is forced to back out of there. And the Baron goes down to Avalanche Supreme.
Really nice call by them, but this fight doesn't seem like it's over. They want to chase.
Oh, the shockwave whiffs though, and Dark Passage really did not have anything to say about that Baron. Meanwhile, that bottom lane, Holy Phoenix is doing work on that turret, and I don't see that turret surviving, as both teams just pull back, except for Holy Phoenix.
Yeah, and Tristana is getting scarily farmed. There's no denying that, but giving over the Baron buff there. I can understand why Dark Passage made the play they did, but Avalanche did a very good job of keeping Baron going while simultaneously making that fight happen and not getting pushed off it. They managed to secure the Baron, which is definitely worth it for that single tower, and their only concern in these team fights now is going to be bursting down Tristana. Possibly they'll have to keep an eye on Morgana and Olaf as well, but other than that, they can just siege through these towers, and so long as they don't get hooked, so long as they don't get caught out one at a time, they have a much stronger team fight at the moment.
Holy Phoenix taking so much damage from those cleavers, and there's rockets coming out of Ritix. As right now, Dark Binding doesn't quite connect, however, and they are looking to siege up this turret. Now, they can siege for quite long because, of course, they have the regeneration of that Baron buff, as this turret is going down fairly quickly if that next wave arrives. And there you have it. A lot of damage coming down. Bounty once again forming that front line. There's no getting past him. Death Sentence connect, but it is not really worth following up, as of course Bounty is so tanky. And there you have it, turret comes down, Assault and Battery being used on Naru. Great route growth, knocks up 3, that is 1 kill. Naru goes down. Right now they are trying to follow up on Holy Phoenix. He will be knocking them back with that Buster Shot, as Trail Benray is taking so much damage as well, and this is going to be a second turret if Fabulous is not going to do anything about it.
And you can just see how disruptive Mundo was there, able to get into the back line, and with Wild Growth, he was even more unkillable than usual. Fabulous is going to go in on this, though. I'm not sure they can fight this.
Yeah, Ritik's taking a whole lot of damage, uses the zap, but Fabulous taking so much damage for himself as well. And he is going down to Skipper. Skipper picks him up once again, another kill. Inhibitor going down. Avalanche Supreme, rather, retreating, and they have to be really content with what they have achieved so far.
Yeah, it was just exactly what you want from your Baron buff. You start pushing people back, you win another team fight, get more gold lead, and then you take an inhibitor. That gives you the map pressure, that gives you the map control, and especially considering it was the middle inhibitor, and they were then able to kill Rengar, it means Dark Passage now don't have a lot of options in terms of what they're going to do next. They kind of have to wait for Avalanche to make the next move.
Yeah, Naru gets knocked up by the Vault Breaker, and what damage, that damage coming out of Ritix right there, just blowing up Naru. That means it's a 4 versus 5 right now, as of course Dark Passage are missing their mid laner, and that is such a huge damage source for them. So right now, Avalanche Supreme looking to cruise down that middle lane, taking down those turrets. Here comes Crystal Meth, trying to put as much damage as he can on towards Ritix. Ritix gets excited, he gets out of there as quickly as he can. This turret going down fairly quickly as well. If this turret goes down, that Nexus is open, and they are looking to damage that. And just like that, Avalanche Prime looking to finish out this game. Will they be able to do it? Yes, they will. Avalanche Prime picking up this game.
GG, well played indeed. Avalanche Prime really showed themselves to be a good team, because Dark Passage, there was some glimmers of hope for them. They kept getting Tristana farm, but it